Who dey?
Do that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So as I mentioned last week, and as Mikey just reminded me, like about an hour ago, um, we are predicting the I'm saying like division winners. That's basically the way this like the title is, but it's really just like predicting the records for everybody in the divisions. And for the most part, like who finishes first, second, third, fourth, and I'm gonna use the see if we actually here we go. I'm gonna use the power ranking tool to kind of like illustrate it a little bit. But for now, let's just get some like we got to talk about other things that are going on, and then we can get to that because that's obviously the meat of this. Um,
Yeah.
so I guess the big news this week is Jim Irsay died just randomly.
Oh yeah. We
Um,
do.
that's
Yeah. We do.
it's unfortunate. He was always one of my like he was always one of the owners I liked the most because like he wasn't like he was kind of an asshole, but I kind of like that about him. Like he wasn't afraid to be himself, and he wasn't afraid to like you know tiptoe outside the line. Not in like a Dan Snyder type of way where it's like it actually just makes you a piece of shit, but like in like kind of a fun type of way, like a like the Virgin Airlines guy, Richard Branson. He
Yeah.
always kind of gave me Richard Branson vibes. Um,
Yeah. I feel
so he will be missed. Not in a Bengals type of way where you step outside the line because you're just actually literally insane and apparently hate everything that has to do with success.
it.
No, no, Richard Branson. No, Richard Branson. See, there I go. Jim Irsay, like it was just unique in the way that he handled things, but he also actually tried to win. Maybe the Bengals should take a page from his book. I mean, I know the Colts weren't like the most successful franchise of all time, but they have more Super Bowls than we do.
I think they have the same that we do, but we did beat Ursay in the Super Bowl one time.
Yeah, but they also beat the Chicago Bears.
Ain't nobody cares.
Yeah, that was with Rex Grossman at quarterback. Like what the hell was the
No,
NFC doing that year that Rex Grossman made the
no,
Super Bowl?
bruh. You know the NFC ratings were down. However, Kyle, you remember that one time where it was saying where everyone was saying running backs should never get paid because of marketing or whatever, and Jim Irsay and Jonathan Taylor had beef. So Irsay said, "If I died tomorrow, the league still goes on." Like
Yeah,
that's literally all I remember.
I think I vaguely remember that, but um,
That was ironic because now he is dead and the league is going on.
my whole thing with running backs is that I don't necessarily think that you shouldn't pay running backs. I do think you should pay running backs. In fact, I kind of have the opposite perspective on that. I think you should pay running backs because I think you should pay running backs early while they're young and keep them on your team for like a decent amount of time and pay and make sure you get like one of the best guys because like a great running back can make a difference for your team. But like an average running back is not really going to make hardly any difference for your team. Like the difference between an average running back and a bad running back isn't really that big of a difference. But if you get like one of the elite guys, that could actually make a significant impact for your team. Maybe not the biggest impact, but a significant impact. And if you go get a guy who's like relatively young, got a lot of tread on the tires, go get him early in his contract. Um, then I mean, like, it's kind of the idea behind like if you can draft a guy in like the third or fourth round, that's great. What I've always said is you don't want to draft a running back in the first round. The only guy who I can think who's been drafted in the first round who's actually like worked out is Jameer Gibbs. And yes, I know Saquon Barkley, but what the hell did he do for the Giants? Like, I guess they went to the
Pain and
playoffs that
misery.
one time.
Pain and misery.
Yeah, pain and misery, exactly. Like, it's not that Saquon Barkley wasn't good. It's that the Giants like if you're gonna take a running back in the first round, you basically gotta be at the point where you're basically ready to go to the Super Bowl already, and it's just like a plug and play type thing. Now the Lions haven't been to the Super Bowl, but you could argue that the Lions maybe should have gone to the Super Bowl last year if it weren't for injuries. Um, And I think Jameer Gibbs has kind of helped be one of those pieces to put them over the edge. But it's very rare situation where it actually works out like that. I mean, and even then, it's risky. Look at the Patriots try to do that with Sony Michel. It didn't work out too well.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Like that's why So look, I've always thought of it as like I'm not mad when someone drafts a running back in the first round, but when you draft a running back in the first round, it has to be your number one need. Okay, like that's why when people were saying that the Saints might draft Gentry at number 9, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, why would you do that? You don't need a running back, and two, a running back's not going to help the Saints in this current situation. That's why when we drafted Devin Neal in the 6th round, I wasn't happy at the pick at the time because I feel like we could have added something better. But I was okay. He's a solid guy. He has raw. He's a guy that's explosive, and you got him in the 6th round. Like that's fine. But it's like when you draft a running back in the 1st round, that has to be your clear-cut need. Like when the Raiders drafted Gentry, I feel like that was the perfect fit for him because the Raiders absolutely needed a running back because their number one guy was Sear McCormick, and their number 2 guy might have been Raheem Mostert or however the depth chart was. Like, man, we ain't trying to watch that. So that's why it's a different perspective from every team whether they should draft a running back in the 1st round or not. Like if the Chiefs should draft a running back in the 1st round, that would have been great.
Well, they did, and that didn't work out for them.
When?
Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Well, yeah, that's just because Clyde Edwards-Helaire ended up just becoming a bust.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, I mean, the so far, like, it seems like the likelihood that unless I said, unless it's somebody who's like basically a sure thing, like Saquon or Jameer Gibbs or whatever, if you're drafting a guy near the back of the 1st round, that's the danger zone for running backs because like all I've seen is, not all I've seen, but the vast majority of what I've seen from running backs taken between picks like 17 and 32 is just a wasteland.
Yeah, well,
and like I said, Saquon was a like. I don't want to call Saquon a bust by any means, but like his actual impact for the Giants kind of feels busty, because like he didn't end up sticking around. He went to the Eagles, of all teams. He won a Super Bowl with your rival. Yeah, he was great, but you were so like it's not so much that Saquon's a bust; it's that the pick is a bust because like you could have used that to build your team and maybe had a more sustainable type of thing. But right now you're flailing because you trusted your franchise to Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think they drafted Barkley before they drafted Daniel Jones too, so that just made it incredibly worse.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Like when they drafted Saquon, it was like they had nothing else at all going for the team. So it's like, what are you doing drafting a running back?
But they didn't have Daniel Jones to think that he was the best in the world. Which
that's what I'm saying. Like, did they still have Eli Manning at the time? I can't remember.
Yeah, but Eli was not getting any younger.
Well, yeah, I think everybody knew he was about to be done, but my point being, it wasn't like, Tyrod Taylor or something like that.
Well, hey, Tyrod Taylor was actually pretty good back then.
That's not really. Daniel Barry, Sports Highlights says cheers. Thank you. Cheers to you too.
Can't drink.
Okay, so anyway, moving on. You wanted to, I wanted to, one last note I wanted to say. I was going to disagree with you about your perspective on running backs. Like, we kind of have the same conclusion, but I disagree with your thought process and methodology. So, like, I don't think you should draft for needs at all, ever. I do not think... the older I get, the more I analyze the draft. And this perspective of mine has changed over the years. I may have said something different on my channel before, but my current perspective is you should never ever draft for needs. At least not early in the draft. Like maybe in like the fourth, fifth, whatever round, but even then probably not. Um I don't think you should draft for needs at all. I think you should go into free agency addressing needs. And when it comes to the draft, you take the best player, period, who's available. You know why? Because like a lot of these guys aren't gonna be like even if you do like start them because your team's so bad that you need to start a rookie right away, or the position's so bad that you need to start a rookie right away. Even if they start right away, which a lot of guys don't, even if they start right away, they're not going to be at their best until they're like a year or two in the first place, for the most part. Like I mean, unless you strike gold with like Jamar Chase or something like that, but even Joe Burrow, like as great of a quarterback as he is, Patrick Mahomes is another great example. Like as great of players as those guys are, they were better in their second year than their first year. Now Patrick Mahomes didn't really get a whole lot of a shot in his first year, but still.
Well, I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like you don't see the Chiefs going out here drafting a quarterback just because a good quarterback's available in the first round. So.
Well, okay, so that's not what I was saying, but I see your point. I'm not saying you take. I'm not saying like the Bengals should have taken Shamar Stewart at 17. I'm not saying he's the best player available. I'm just throwing shit out there. I don't fucking know. But I'm not saying the Bengals should take a quarterback any given year just because he's the best player available. What I more so mean is you shouldn't be like oh, we need an offensive guard, therefore we should take an offensive guard in the first round. Like that's not how that works. Like because like if you focus on the position rather than the player, then you could end up reaching on a guy who actually isn't as good as like you make him out to be in your head because he's like the best that you can think of at that position for the position that you really need. But the thing is, these guys are going to take a few years to develop anyway. So who knows what your roster is going to look like in a few years? And I mean, the quarterback's different because you expect, if you got the guy at quarterback, you expect him to be around for like 10, 15 years. But pretty much any other position, again, like I mean, even wide receiver. Like if wide receiver for the Bengals got Jamar Chase and T Higgins. But if wide receiver is the best player on the board, I think they should take the wide receiver because Jamar Chase is probably going to be around for a very long time. Now it seems like T Higgins is going to be around for a very long time, but we didn't know that going into the draft. And even if not, like I mean, T Higgins could get hurt, Jamar Chase could get hurt. Like lots of things could happen. And worst case scenario, you have the best trio of wide receivers in the NFL, and you can trade one of those guys at some point. I don't like this idea of really hammering hard on what position you need because that's just. That feels like you're digging yourself a grave. You focus on position of need, on proven guys in free agency, and in the draft you just take the guys who are going to like make the biggest impact, regardless of what position they play. If they are a really good player, you can find a spot on your team for them at some point.
Yeah, I understand both perspectives from it, but at the same time, it's like. All right, but at the same time, it's like teams, right? They don't go like, okay, I think you do sometimes have to draft for need, but at a certain extent. Like, for example, what the Cowboys did, I feel like that was absolutely ridiculous. Okay, maybe they needed guard, but they didn't have to go Tyler Booker. But like that's when I draw the line. Okay, you don't just hammer for need. Okay, that I agree with you on. But at the same time, if you have like no quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback and there's a quarterback that's a first round talent, but there's a better wide receiver prospect, you got to take the quarterback because you need quarterback to win. And also if you have a lot of receivers, and I mean a lot of them, like so much depth, but the best players are wide receiver, but like the third best player is a defensive end, and you absolutely need a defensive end. You got to take the defensive end. I'm sorry, that's just business, man.
Okay, so let's take quarterback out of this entirely because that doesn't no, I'm saying we're taking that out entirely because quarterback doesn't count, and I'll tell you why. Because quarterback makes such a a disproportionately huge size impact. That it, like I mean like if you need a quarterback, then you need a damn quarterback. If you don't take a great quarterback, then you're kind of SOL. The difference is like, if there's not really like, you don't want to reach for a quarterback if there's not really a quarterback worth reaching for, in the first round. Like you want to like build your team, and then if you got to wait till the second round because there's only second round talents available, then you do what you do. Maybe if you got like, you're at the end of the first round, there's not really a first round talent available. You trade down to like the beginning of the second round or something. You get your second round quarterback, and then you get an extra pick to help build your team around that quarterback. But the way I see it, I don't think that teams are benefited much from draft like with defensive end. If you need a defensive end, great, but reaching for defensive end just because you need a defensive end like in the first round, you're shooting yourself in the foot because, like especially if you have like a blue chip guy who's sitting there. Maybe you don't need a tackle, but at some point you might need a tackle, and especially with the way NFL contracts work. Like with the Bengals, for example, with Orlando Brown Jr. Orlando Brown Jr. is our left tackle. He's the guy, but he's also expensive. So like if we can draft a guy who turns out to be like a really great left tackle, maybe in a few years we can have him play left tackle and not have to pay Orlando Brown. And then, we can use that money to, not pay Trey Hendrickson. I'm sorry, I had to throw that one in there. But anyway, point being, my point is that when it comes to the draft, you're going to be developing these guys for a couple years anyway. So unless you know exactly what your needs are going to be in a couple of years, then trying to shoehorn in a pick, like if you really need a defensive end, well, you better look for defensive end a little bit harder. And you should really be attacking this in free agency if you're that desperate for a defensive end. That way you can go into the draft not needing one so badly that you have to reach in the first round for one.
Yeah, well, it's not really a reach if there's like another first round or a top 5 talent at the position that.
Well, yeah, if it's a top 5 talent, okay. So like, part of it depends on your board and it depends on impact. The reason I say get rid of quarterback is because quarterback makes a huge impact regardless. Like the amount of emphasis you're putting on quarterback is so much higher that like if you take if you need a quarterback, then you got to take a quarterback because the quarterback makes such a much bigger difference to the success of your team than a defensive end or a running back or whatever would. Defensive end isn't quite the same, but it is a good point. Like if you've got like like a guy who's like top 5 on your board, but you like a guy who's like number 3 on your board who's defensive end, but there's a running back who's number 2, but you don't need a running back. Yeah, take the defensive end. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to be scientific about it like that. I'm just saying like if like if you're sitting there and you're like, oh, we need like what the Cowboys did, but that's an extreme example too. Like even a little bit beyond that, like you're at the beginning of like you're like pick like 14, and there's a guy who like there's a offensive guard on the board, and you really need an offensive guard. But he's really more of like a late round pick. But there's like this defensive end who fell, who like you don't really need a defensive end. You got Trey Hendrickson and you got Sam Hubbard on your team. This is the Bengals from like a year ago or whatever. You don't really need a defensive end, but you might need a defensive end in a couple of years. Take the fucking defensive end because like that guy's a baller, and you'll find another offensive guard at some point in the draft. I mean, if you really want to be aggressive, you can probably trade your second round pickup into the late first round and probably still get that offensive guard. I'm just saying like reaching too much just for need, or prioritizing need too heavily it kind of goes against logic because like I said, a lot of these guys aren't even going to play right away. So you're like, oh well, we need we need a defensive end real bad. Okay, but just because you take a guy in the first round doesn't mean he's going to play right away. I mean, like, and if he does, but he's not ready, then you're kind of ruining that guy's career before it gets started.
Yeah, well.
Okay, so anyway, we've dove way too far down the rabbit hole. Let's talk. That's the wrong screen. Let's talk about these predictions. So we're gonna go division by division, so we don't take hopefully too terribly long. But the way I'm gonna do it, keep track of it. We're basically like let's say the Bills win the AFC East. So they'll be instead of thinking of them as number one, it's just this top row is division winners, and then 2, 3, 4. That's just the way we're gonna do it. Just because
are we gonna take turns on divisions? Are we gonna like try to come up to an agreement? Like, what are we doing here?
I think we're just. I think we do divisions, and I think you give me what order you think they're going to be in, and then I'll tell you what order I think they're going to be in. And then we can have a discussion about it. We'll figure out whatever the order is. Probably throw in what you think the actual record is going to be when you're talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess so. So since I said it, let's start with the AFC East.
Okay.
So what you got?
So I got the Bills. So if we're going by record, I had the Bills and Dolphins both winning 10 games this season.
Okay.
But I had the Bills winning a tiebreaker.
Okay.
I did the math. I had the Jets coming in third with 8 wins. I feel like Fields and Wilson, I feel like that's a kind of an underrated duo. I think that Jets defense is still nice. I don't think Justin Fields, though, is enough to get them over the hump. And then obviously, I have Bills, Dolphins, Jets, and then the Patriots. They bottom them out at 7 and 10. I think they will be a solid team this year, just not enough. I don't think they're going to be better than the other 3.
Okay. I think the Bills are. I agree with the Bills winning the division. I think they're going to finish like 12-5 though, or something like that. I think they're going to have a pretty good season. The Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are about to have like a real bad season. I think the Dolphins might finish last in the division. And actually, to be completely honest with you, I would swap the Patriots and the Dolphins because I think Drake May. Now it is like going into a new season. It is a little questionable. So I mean, I'm not saying I'd bet money on this, but just based off of what I'm seeing from the Patriots roster alone, we'll see what happens, with the coaching and the preparation and everything like that. But I think the Patriots have a chance to maybe not make the playoffs, but make a run at being relevant at the very least. So I mean, I'm thinking like, I'm thinking a winning season for them at the very least. Now I'm also not expecting the AFC East to be like super competitive. I know you're like, Justin Fields, and I don't care about Justin Fields or the Jets at all. The Jets are an afterthought, but the main reason I don't have the Jets at number 4 is because I think the Dolphins are about to have like a real bad season. I think the Dolphins are about to like kind of fall off completely. So okay, so then I guess AFC West. Why don't we do it that way? Who do you think's going to win the division, Mikey?
Raiders.
Okay, Raiders. So the Raiders are going to win the division. Got it. All right, who's next?
Chiefs.
Okay, so the Chiefs are going to win the division.
Yes.
I don't think we're stupid. Do you think the Raiders are going to come in second?
No, the Raiders are coming in 4th. I was just trying to say the Raiders, so maybe God could hear me, but no.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. Are you saying Broncos 2, Chargers 3?
I'm saying Chargers 2, Broncos 3.
Oh, okay, interesting. Because I think the Broncos have a snowball's chance in hell. Okay, not a big chance, but I think the Broncos have a chance this year to knock the Chiefs off. Not like, I'm not saying I bet money on it. I probably feel less confident about that than I do about the Patriots having a winning record. But I think I wouldn't be shocked if the Broncos knock the Chiefs off and then we get a distribution that's more like this next year.
Yeah, I could see it. Like, I just don't think the Chiefs are going to be as good as they were last year. In fact, I think the Chiefs, they're still going to be a good team, obviously. You're not going to go from, I mean, I would say you're not going to go from Super Bowl to not making the playoffs, but we've seen that happen a lot in the past. So it's like, anything's possible. But it's like the Chiefs, they're set up. The AFC West, it's more competitive than it was in years past, but the Chiefs still run that, until you beat the King's not going to be beaten. So even though the referees be favoring the Chiefs so much, it's like the
But I
Chiefs, they're still going to win their 12, 13, 14 games, something like that. So.
I think all that's done though. I think the mystique's broken, and I think the refs got called on their bullshit, so they're going to be a little more careful about the Chiefs this year. And whether or not you believe in the like a ref conspiracy for the Chiefs or not, the fact of the matter is there's a big spotlight on the refs with the Chiefs right now, and we saw them respond that way by calling the Super Bowl actually fairly for once. Um, so I mean, like I don't know. I just think with some of the drama that's been going on in KC this offseason, and then we saw like Travis Kelsey is one of like the pins of their organization being so competitive. He just kind of fell off last year, and then like we know Andy Reid's been kind of like back and forth with whether he wants to retire or not. Like I'm not saying he's gonna like let himself be super distracted or whatever, but it just feels like there's all sorts of little distractions going on for the Chiefs this offseason, and then that plus the mystique being gone, and that plus the refs maybe being a little less forgiving with them this season. I just think it's not gonna. The Chiefs aren't. I'm not saying like write the Chiefs off and like circle them as a game on your schedule where you're like, oh, we can take this week off. But I am saying that I think things might be a little tougher for the Chiefs this year than they had been.
Maybe.
So, we can disagree with that, but we used. Oh wait, no, we didn't. Okay, but you know what? Okay, so we can. So since we used my distribution for the AFC East, we can use your distribution for the AFC West.
Okay.
But I think there's a chance, and again, I'm not saying I'm not putting my name on it, but I think there's a chance the Broncos knock the Chiefs off.
I did that before. It does not work.
And I also think the Chargers are not good. So
what?
I don't buy the Chargers, and I do not buy Justin Herbert. I've never bought Justin Herbert.
Okay, I'm gonna forget you said that. Can we move on to the next division now?
Okay. Yeah. So the next division would be the AFC South. This one's tough.
Fun fact: I have the winner of the division winning only 7 games this year.
That's depressing.
That's how bad I think the South is.
Yeah.
I have the Texans winning at 7-10 because I don't believe in their. I think they have good receivers, but like they lost Diggs, Tank Dell's out. They have Nico Collins. Whoop-de-doo. Like their defense is not so menacing like people think it is. Like yeah, they got Stingley, they got Petrie, they got guys, but it's like, I mean, CJ Stroud, he has to come back. He had a solid year last year, but definitely not how he was his rookie year. Colts, I got them second place with 7 wins. I just also don't buy Richardson or Daniel Jones, whoever they're throwing out there. But I think, Jonathan Taylor is enough to win 7 games. He might win 2 of them for him because he did have, I'm pretty sure, a 200-yard rushing game last year. And Titans, they're third place with 6 wins. I think Cam Ward is going to be a little bit better than Will Levis, but I still don't think he's going to be the rookie of the year. And Jags, they all stayed in the pressing lane with your 5 wins.
All right. So I mostly agree with you. I'm gonna swap the Titans and the Colts though, because I think Cam Ward will make a little bit more of an impact for the Titans, enough to, with everything else that they've done this offseason, I think it'll be enough to get them above the Colts, who I don't see. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they really get it. Like they rally for Jim, But other than that, I just don't see anything for the Colts. And then, dude, the Jaguars. As much as I kind of personally like the Jaguars in the idea of I wouldn't say I'd ever be a fan of the Jaguars. Cause I've said this I've said this on here before. If for whatever reason, the one thing that could ever make me not be a Bengals fan is if the Bengals moved from Cincinnati. And if that's the case, I'm probably just not a fan of any team anymore. I think I'd probably, because of this channel, I'd probably still watch football, and I'm also a gigantic football nerd, so I'd probably still watch football. But I think I'd follow players more than I'd follow teams at that point, you know. But I don't know. I've always kind of had a soft spot for the Jaguars, you know. But maybe it's just because they've always been so bad that I don't have to worry about them, so I've never had any reason to dislike them. But I think that continues. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I think Trevor Lawrence has completely missed the boat entirely now. I don't think he's ever not with the Jaguars. I'm not saying he couldn't end up going to a different team and having a career resurgence, but I think with the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's ever going to be what he was drafted to be. I think he's I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence anymore. And then Liam Cohen, right? That's their head coach.
Yeah.
I don't get Liam Cohen. I don't think he's all that good. The Jaguars in general this year, they look like a mess to me, and I don't know if they're tanking again, but it looks like they are. So I don't even think they'll get to 5 wins.
2005.
Well, on and off.
So
but
you never know what Jaguars you're getting. 2 years ago, they're in the playoffs. Now they can barely sniff 6 wins.
I don't think they'll get to 5 wins this year. I think it'll be like a 3-win season at most.
I have them winning 5 games because I think they're going to probably beat maybe either the Colts or the Titans one time. That's about it.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. If I can. Okay, just trying to center that up a little bit more. Okay, so all right, so then I guess that leaves the AFC North. So obviously the Bengals are winning the Super Bowl. We're going to put them number 1.
No.
The Steelers suck, so we're going to put them number 4.
Okay.
Then the Ravens, we're going to put them at number 32 in a different division. And then the Browns are in I don't know, the XFL probably.
Okay.
We're just going to take them out of the league. Okay. So
do I not get a say in
this? No, you get to go first. Just give me. I swear to God, if you put the Steelers at number 1, I'm gonna fight you. But go ahead and put what you think's gonna happen.
Well, you're gonna probably wish that I was your son after what I'm about to say. Ravens are number 1 at 11-6. Bengals are number 2 at 10-7. I have the Browns and Steelers both winning 5 games. But
does that mean we make the playoffs?
What?
At 10-7?
Yeah. Well, okay. Due to tiebreakers, I got the Browns finishing 3rd at 5-12, and the Steelers bottom out at 5-12.
Okay. So I'm not sure why that makes me want you to be my son.
Because the Steelers suck.
Well, the Steelers do suck. But Murphy, my actual son thinks that the Steelers suck. So that works out.
Bro, I was playing around.
I know, I get it. But you got the Ravens finishing 1st in the division, and that makes me sad. So, I don't even know if it's fair for me to try to predict this right now. I'll be honest with you. I have a bad feeling about the Bengals this year. I really do. But maybe I'm just pissed off about Trey Hendrickson. Maybe that's what it is. So I feel like I should withhold judgment, but because this episode is an episode about passing judgment, I guess I have to say what's going to happen.
Why you got the Steelers at 3?
I think I agree with your distribution here. I think the Ravens are going to win the division. I think the Bengals are going to come in second, but I'm not sure about making the playoffs, to be honest. The Steelers, I don't know, five wins, 6 wins, 7 wins, somewhere around there, maybe. I don't know. And then the Browns.
I mean, the Browns kind of do that too.
Did you say 5-12?
Yeah.
I don't. I think the Browns are going to be the worst team in the NFL this year, like point blank. Like I said, the Jaguars are going to be bad. I think the Browns are going to be like embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
Like I think Myles Garrett is going to get them like a win or two early in the season, and it's just going to be so depressing that he's just going to give up, and then they're not going to win a single game after like week 5.
The only way Myles Garrett's winning a championship in Cleveland is if he plays for the Cavs.
Yeah, I guess. Well, no, because I feel like if Myles Garrett played for the Cavs, that would make the Cavs worse. So they probably wouldn't win a championship. Well, no, just because he's a really big guy, like he's not built right for basketball.
Nah, I've seen Myles Garrett play basketball.
Well, I'm sure he could play basketball well. I'm just saying against NBA players, I don't know if he would play so well. Like he beat my ass in basketball, but I also I can't shoot to save my life. To be honest with you.
Yeah. All right, bro.
All right, let's move on to the NFC. So, eeny, meeny, miny, South. All right. Since we did my team in the at 4, we'll do you turn. Since we did my division at 4, we'll do your division at 5.
Okay.
All right, so the Panthers are going to win the division.
What? So
no.
My worst team. I think the Panthers are actually going to be the worst team in the league this year. Man.
I don't. I think the Panthers are going to. You're actually. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what I think is going to happen. Don't hate me.
No. You're going to hurt my feelings, and I'm not going to like it.
I am going to hurt your feelings. Now the Buccaneers are going to finish first in the division. I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah.
I know you don't like that, but I think the Buccaneers are going to finish first in the division. I think they're going to be pretty good this year. Now, you had said prior to recording, you think the Buccaneers are going to win the Super Bowl, and I don't know if I'd go that far, but I think they'll be pretty good.
I have them going 14-3.
I think the Falcons will be number 2. And wait, hold on. No, I lied. Panthers are going to be number 2.
Shoot me.
And I think they're gonna win 9 games. And they may. I'm not saying they make the playoffs. I'm saying they might make the playoffs. You know, it'd be like the number 7 seed or something like that. But they got a shot. The Falcons, I think, are going to be like also 8 or 9 wins. And then the Saints are not going to be 8 or 9 wins. I think the Saints are going to do better than the Browns and Jaguars.
Yay, I'm so excited. Yay.
I think it's going to be like about... Really, honestly, I see all of these, like, every team but the Bucks, I see somewhere around, like... So like the Panthers, I would say I think the Panthers get 9 wins. I think the Falcons get 8 wins, and I think the Saints get 7 wins.
Yeah, well, for me, I had the Bucks winning the division at 14. I had the Saints coming in second at 7. Falcons come third with 7. Panthers come fourth with 3.
So we both agree, at the very least, that we don't have high hopes for any of the other teams. But the difference is, I think I kind of have high... Like, I'm not saying the Panthers have a great season, but I think catapulting, after the way the last however long's been at this point, I think catapulting to 9 wins is a pretty damn good season for what they've... compared to where they've been.
Okay.
And then the Saints.
Tyler Shuck for the save us.
Well, he might have to. All right. So let's do the NFC East now. So, I'm thinking. Like I'll be honest, like I can't like like until further notice, the Eagles are gonna. Um, I don't see anything other than that. And then I do think Jaden Daniels is, I don't want to say going to take a step back necessarily. I just don't think he's going to be as overall effective for the Commanders this year as he was last year. So I think the Cowboys come number 2 and probably get one of those playoff spots. Washington missed the playoffs at number 3, and then the Giants are competing with the Jaguars and the Browns for a top 5 pick.
Okay.
I have no clue what the Giants are doing. No clue at all.
As long as they don't take Arch from us, we'll be fine.
Well, y'all are going to need to lose more games than what I said if you want to get Arch.
0-17, God.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I'm definitely right about putting them at number 4 in the division. Didn't you say they were going to be number 2? I mean, like, how are you going to be number 2 in the division and get Arch Manning?
Jesus works in mysterious ways.
Okay. You gonna trade up?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll trade a 7th-round pick to get Arch.
Okay.
Hey, it could happen. Okay, NFC East, yeah, Eagles are at 1, Commanders at 2, Cowgirls at 3, Giants at 4.
Okay.
I think 3 of those teams make the playoffs. Giants, y'all live in cuckoo land.
Yeah, the Giants are, like...
I have them win 6 games. Eagles win 12. Washington 10. Dallas wins 9. Giants, y'all stink. 6 wins for y'all.
Yeah, the Giants, Jaguars, and Browns are the 3 teams I think I can definitively say that I have no idea what they're doing, and I think they're all going to suck pretty hard this year.
Yeah, I originally had the Giants winning 2 games, but then I kept doing the schedules over and over because I wanted to make sure I wasn't leaving anybody out.
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, I mean, they do have a little bit. They're just like the Saints, just in a weirder way.
Stupid?
No.
I mean, like...
The Giants are stupid, too.
No, that's what I'm saying. The Giants are stupid. Are you calling the Saints stupid?
I am.
Shut
okay.
up. Bro, the Saints have been stupid. The Saints have been stupid since Drew Brees retired. Okay. Restructuring contracts, drafting Peyton Turner in the first round. Like, come on, what are we even doing? I hate living with people.
All right. So let's move on to the NFC North then. This one's tough. I don't know what's going to happen with this division. Other than I think it's pretty clear that the Lions are probably going to win it. But as far as the other 3 teams, I have no idea.
Fun fact: this might be a hot take. Some people actually got the Vikings winning that division.
I don't. I wouldn't put it past the Vikings to come in second and maybe make it around the playoffs, but I just like I need to know what their plan is at quarterback before I really commit to feeling them, Like, I guess it's J.J. McCarthy, but are we sure?
Yes.
I guess I don't know. I like J, and I'm one of the people who actually does believe in J.J. McCarthy. I'm not 100% sure if the Vikings believe in J.J. McCarthy. That's the problem.
I don't believe in J.J. McCarthy, but I just don't think it matters.
Okay, fair enough.
Like Sam Darnold, where was he before he went to Minnesota? It's like Kevin O'Connell. He's like the new quarterback whisperer, sort of.
Yeah. So
it's like he can make any quarterback look good. Like even Dobbs is looking good for a minute.
Here's an interesting prediction I do have about the NFC North, though. I think every team in this division finishes with a winning record this year.
2 teams I think will win more than 9 games.
I think the Lions finish with I think the Lions could have a 15-win season. And then the Vikings, I'm thinking 10 or 11 wins. And then I think both the Packers and the Bears finish 9-8. but I think the Bears are going to finish third and the Packers are going to finish fourth. And I think it's possible, though, that all four teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, could happen. I got the Vikings at winning 12, Lions winning 10, Bears winning 8, Packers winning 7.
I still think the Packers are pretty decent. 7 feels low for where their roster's at.
I just feel like the division is tough.
It is a tough division. It might be the best division in football right now.
Yeah, I feel like that division's just kind of too tough, and I feel like Jordan Love is he's good, but he's not great going into this year. And like the Bears, they've improved. The Vikings, they improved. The Lions improved. The Packers, they haven't really improved that much for me. They drafted Matthew Golden in the first round, but is he going to be your number one guy? Like Packers, they have like 85 number 2 wide receivers. Like,
weren't you a big fan of Matthew Golden?
I was, but he's going to the Packers. Like, the only reason I was a big fan of Matthew Golden is because I thought he wasn't going to have to be a number 1 wide receiver. But then he got drafted to the Packers.
Yeah.
I don't like Matthew Golden if he has to be your number 1 guy. Like, but Matthew Golden to be like your number 2, number 3, even a guy, that could maybe even be in the slot, like that would have been better than making him your number 1. Like that, I don't agree with at all.
All right. So we got one division left then, and it is probably the division I care least about. So that's probably why we ended up doing them last. But like I don't know if like this division bores me like right now. Like I mean I don't know. I guess I don't know like. I guess just by default, like the Rams are probably going to win that division. Like,
Yeah.
you got Matthew Stafford and Devontae Adams, and they got like a potentially high-powered passing offense. But like, nothing about the Rams really excites me other than those two. And then it's just like none of the other 3 teams I really have much confidence in. Like, I mean, the 49ers should be better, but I don't know, they just gave all that money to Brock Purdy, and obviously, like, paying Brock Purdy isn't going to change your team's level of play this year, but it just feels like they're putting a lot on Brock Purdy, and I don't know if Brock Purdy's that good, So I do think the 49ers will probably improve a little bit this year, though, just because they won't. I mean, we'll see about injuries, but probably them number 2. But I don't even think the number 2 team in this division makes the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter. Seahawks number 3, Cardinals number 4. I would be willing to hear an argument that the Seahawks would be number 2 and the 49ers number 3. Just because who did the Seahawks bring in a quarterback?
Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think I liked what Sam Darnold did with the Vikings last year. So, and this guy was like a high draft pick. Like, I mean, Sam Darnold was supposed to be a really good quarterback in the NFL. So I wouldn't be shocked if he turns out to be pretty good. Like you remember Sam Bradford?
Yes.
He got drafted like I think it was number 1, and he kind of like was not that great with the Rams. I also think the Rams was a really bad situation to go to at the time, but he ended up kind of like reviving his career a little bit, and he was like good here and there. And I think Sam Darnold could be kind of like that, but better. Like he could be like Sam Bradford, but a better version of that. And I think if that's enough if you put the right team around him. Now they did lose DK Metcalf. That's probably not great. So like I do have some concerns about the Seahawks, but I think if you get the best out of Sam Darnold this year, I think that they could come number 2, and they could push for the division title, I guess, over the Rams. But I don't know. Again, this division's boring as hell to me. I'm coming up, and then the Cardinals. Fuck the Cardinals. I don't care. I do not care about the Cardinals. Like I have no interest in the Cardinals. Like Kyler Murray, I'm done with that experiment. I lost interest in that experiment years ago. I don't know what the hell they're doing, so I'm disregarding the Cardinals. They'll I don't know, they'll win like 5 or 6 games this year, and they'll probably go on a like a 3 or 4 game win streak at some point and trick everybody into thinking that they're interesting, or either that or they'll I don't even know what their schedule is like, but they'll beat like a undefeated team at some point, and everybody will be like, "Oh, are the Cardinals actually good?" No, they're not. You know you fall for shit too easily. The Cardinals do this shit every year. They're not good, but then they beat some team they're not supposed to beat, and people think they're good until they realize they're not actually good.
That's nice.
That's how I feel about it. What do you think?
I got the Cardinals winning the division.
That's wild to me. I'm not putting them in the same category as like the Browns and the Jaguars and the Giants, but like I don't. Why? How?
Because, right, I feel like the defense got a whole lot better with adding Will Johnson, with adding guys, through the draft. And also, I feel like Kyler Murray's going to take another leap with Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw the ball to. Trey McBride came into his zone last year. You also got James Conner running the ball, and I'm pretty sure they had another running back that I'm forgetting. And also, they can do some really good things. They have a solid offensive line, and also life doesn't mean anything, and everyone dies eventually. So yes, the Cardinals win the division.
Well, yeah, I suppose if you just like, I'm gonna just throw stuff out there because the world doesn't matter and nihilism is the best philosophy, then you can do whatever you want. But I can tell you right now, you just tried to throw out James Conner as a reason that you believe in a football team, and I'm like, dude, James Conner's claim to fame is the fact that he did pretty well when Najee Harris was hurt. That's like the only thing that James Conner's ever done in his career.
Yeah, I mean, well, in 2021, he kind of helped the Cardinals win or almost win that division.
That's great. The Cardinals had a little bit more of a direction back in 2021. I think they've completely lost the plot at this point.
Yeah. Well, I have the Rams second place, 49ers third, Seahawks fourth.
I like the rest of those teams. I don't really care that much about the distribution, although it seems you have them in the same order as I have them in. I don't understand the Cardinals, but once again, I would like to stop talking about this division because I don't care about this division. This division bores me. So that's how I feel
what
about
bores
it.
me?
What?
You know what bores me?
What?
Watching a quarterback competition of Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck.
You know what bores me? Hearing people complain about Trey Hendrickson being he's $28 million isn't enough for him. Well, he should take the money because that's enough money for anybody. $28 million. He should take the money. It's not about the fucking money, guys. It's not about. If the Bengals were offering him $31 million, I don't think he would take that because it's about the contract structure. He's said that from the beginning. It's not about the money. It's about the fact that the Bengals don't want to give him a long-term contract, which he said over and over and over, and it's probably also about guarantees or something like that. It's not about the difference between $28 and $31 million. It's just fucking not. It never was. It never will be. Like, stop it. Like Trey Hendrickson even said at one point he'd be willing to take a discount to come back to Cincinnati. I don't know if he actually said that. He might have implied it. But it's not, and it's never been about the money. And people just like these clickbait fucking headlines.
I miss Trey.
That's nice. I miss. I don't know. I'd say I miss not having drama. But I can't tell you the last time the Bengals didn't have drama in the offseason. Like, it's every year of my life, it's just drama. Like, doesn't matter if Zach Taylor's the head coach or if Marvin Lewis is the head coach. Like, the Bengals just invite drama because they're like either they rely on players who cause drama or they get bored in the offseason and the ownership just decides to start treating players like trash, and that causes drama. Like it's every fucking year, and I'm getting tired of it. And like I love this team. I'm a Bengals fan because I don't really have any other choice. But like I love the team. I would never say that like I hate the team. But good God, I hate our fucking front office. I hate them. I want them to go away. I want them to go like to the depths of like Saudi Arabia and just get lost in the desert. All right, just like go away. Stop being our front office. You're bad at your jobs, and I hate you. So yeah, that's how I feel about it.
I just want a quarterback that doesn't make me want to jump off the Empire State Building.
Well, you got rid of one who did, so
No, he wanted. No, he made me want to jump off of the hot air balloon.
I don't know how that's that much different.
Because I just jump whenever I feel like it. There's either like because he's either on the ground or he's not on the ground or he's not. But no, and also I ain't gonna lie
Oh,
though.
okay.
Tyler Shuck kind of looking nice though. Kind of looking nice. But to be fair, we said the same bullcrap about Derek Carr when he first came here, and you saw how that turned out. So I don't believe nothing no more. I don't even believe anything anymore. All I believe is pain, misery, and Drew Brees will once again come back to save us.
That's nice. Is somebody gonna come save us at some point? No, they're. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. They're not, because Joe Burrow came to save us, and the Bengals are fucking that shit up. So no, nobody's gonna come save us because we don't let them.
Unless you want to trade us Joe Burrow for a fifth-round pick.
For a fifth round pick, what?
Yeah.
Okay, we're jumping the shark at this point. I think we don't have anything else to talk about now. So.
Depression.
All right. So you got anything else you want to talk about, Mikey?
Tush push.
Ah, yes, we do need to very briefly talk about that. That's the other bit of news that came out this week is the owners seem to did they officially reject the tush push ban or is that just rumors still?
It was confirmed not banned, but they are able to revisit it at a later point and date.
Right, but like I didn't know if they actually voted on it yet or not, or if it was just rumors about how people feel about it. Okay, so
it was official Wednesday.
Ah, I see. Okay, so the tush push is officially not being banned, and I say, thank God, because that's stupid. Like, it's the most football play that's ever existed. You line up and you try to like push your way forward through like pain and tackling and whatever to get yards. Like it's basically rugby. So I mean, I guess in that way, maybe they should ban it because it's too footballish. It's maybe you could argue that it's a dangerous play and it's bad for player safety. But in reality, they probably would only care because it's maybe not the best for ratings too, because it's not a big crazy throw, an acrobatic catch or whatever. But it is the most fucking football play in football, and so banning it is a joke to me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Sean McVay said that the play doesn't look like football to him, so I don't know what.
I don't.
What type of thing.
I don't care about Sean McVay. I don't like Sean McVay. He took a Super Bowl from me.
Okay, he took a Super Bowl from me too.
Well, then we can both dislike him.
You're right. We can both dislike him too.
Okay.
That we can agree on.
So then, what's your thoughts on the tush push?
I just feel like it's like whatever. Like we don't like what? What's next? You trying to ban? Like you can't just ban some just because you're not good at stopping it. Like you don't see people trying to ban. Sorry, you don't see people trying to ban Joe Burrow throwing to Jamar Chase. You don't see people banning Patrick Mahomes throwing like his baseball pass. You don't see people trying to ban that. You don't see people banning Josh Jacobs running up the middle. Like you can't ban something if you can't stop it. Like, teams have stopped it in the past. It's not impossible.
Exactly, just play fucking football. It reminds me of like back in like in the late '80s. I mean, obviously, I don't personally remember this because I wasn't born yet, but I've read up on it. I've heard the stories and I've read up on it and everything like that. And like the Bengals got really successful in 1988. Ended up going to a Super Bowl because they basically, I don't know if they invented the no huddle offense, but they were definitely the first team to really use the no huddle offense like as a strategic type of thing. And the Bills and Marv Levy threw a fucking whiny hissy fit went to the NFL, tried to get the thing banned, and the NFL was like, no, you can't just ban the play because you can't stop it. And so Marv Levy decided since he couldn't stop it, he was going to implement it, and then he took the Bills to 4 Super Bowls with the strategy that we started that he tried to get banned because he couldn't stop it. And this is the most punk ass shit I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it's like, bro, like you can be frustrated that you can't stop it. Like, yeah, like you can be frustrated that you can't stop it, but at the end of the day, you can run it. And then people keep saying, well, it could end up in players in injuries to the players. Bruh, players get hurt on kickoffs, man. You don't see them trying to ban kickoffs, even though they're probably going to. But you don't see them trying to ban kickoffs. Like people get hurt just by walking on, like just by walking sometimes. Like and plus, there's never been, and you can go look at all the data. There's never been one tush push play to ever get someone injured. So yes, theoretically it
Which is
could
kind of
happen.
wild to me. It looks like a painful play.
Yeah, but like theoretically, yes, it could happen. But you can get hurt and on every play. And it's like the tush push is like it's yeah, like whenever you say it, it's kind of like yeah, I don't really want to like if I'm analyzing a game, I don't want to call it like the tush push. Like that's the only reason I would have cared if it got banned because that would have been a weird play to have a name for it. But yeah, like the tush push is like, bruh. I mean, come on, man. Like it's like bro, it's like a QB sneak. If you're gonna ban the switch, you might as well ban QB sneaks entirely. Like I've never seen so much controversy over one play for itty bitty yards in my life.
Right.
It's like, damn, shut up,
I
get
feel
good
that.
at it, stop it, do whatever.
I feel that. Um, I don't think I have too much more to say about it though. And I do think it's about time for us to sign off. So yeah, we'll catch y'all next week. Let us know your thoughts about what you think the records are going to be um, in the comments if you watch this later. Um, if you want to make if you want to make this is a power rankings app, but if you want to make stuff like this, I'm at some point I'm thinking about adding some more like tools to the website, but it's jungle-hub.com and get it there in well, this is zone.junglehub.com. That's just the way that that particular website address works, but that's the official home of the show, and you can find everything you need there. So yeah, thanks for showing up, Daniel and Jim. And
No, thank you to Jim.
Well, Jim
Jim
was
does not get
what Jim said was funny.
What Jim said makes me want to jump to the computer just to slap just to slap him.
I'm pretty sure that's why he did it.
I'm pretty sure that he can go suck it.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching to the people who watch now and the people who watch later. I'll leave y'all.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Jim. I'll leave y'all as always with a hoo day.
Dude,